Boom, boom! Hello everybody and welcome back to another battle report from Wardog Gaming Battle Reports. I bid you all welcome. Hope you have had a great time while I haven't done any battle reports for you guys. I hope you have enjoyed the summer because right now it is scorching hot here in Sweden. Up here on the northern half of the hemisphere, the weather is awesome, yeah. Well, maybe not today. Today it has been a little bit rainy, but otherwise it has been like between 25 to 31 degrees Celsius. So you can't really complain about that, can you? Maybe for some guys it can be a little bit too hot, but I really enjoy it when it is like this. Anyways, otherwise I have done mostly nothing much really. I haven't played that much Knife Age. I have just played a couple of games on UB, and right now me and a couple of friends of mine have signed up to the Ocho, so you can find me there. I'm playing for almost Sweden and no Finnish. That's the team name of my team, and we are 8 guys. All of them are my good friends, and so far it has gone not that great for us. For myself it has been going pretty decent, I gotta say. Last time I checked I was around 20 something placed when after 3 rounds have been played. I was 23 I think, somewhere around there out of 240 players, so I can't really complain at all about that. But I don't know, going by individual standings in a team tournament isn't really fair to look at it, to be honest. And also I'm playing my rats, so I have that going for me as well. But anyway guys, we're not here to talk about that now, are we? We're here to check in the latest battle report out of Wardog Gaming, yeah? So let's jump right into it, no more stalling. So guys, let's have a look at our opponent this time.
Voices in my head again, trapped in a war inside my own skin. They're pulling me under.
Right guys, it's Vampire Covenant. They are back on the channel, but first of all that was Motionless in White with Voices. And the player that is playing this list is Mr. Newman. So welcome back Mr. Newman to the channel again. A pleasure to have you here as always, my good friend. Alright, so let's have a quick look at his list. If you guys have seen the VC battle reports earlier, you might already recognize this. This is the exact same list that he had been playing for almost a year, I think. So let's run it through quickly then. Right, so he has a Vampire Courtier on Court of the Damned. It is Lamia. It has Witchcraft. It has paired weapons with Kingslayer, Magical Heirloom, the basic stuff. Then he has a Necromancer, Wizard Master with Evocation, Necromantic Staff, a Barrow King with a Ghostly Guard, Willows Ward. That is also the BSB, which will be inside the Barrow Guard unit just to give them stubborn, make sure that they withstand and can grind down any opponent. Moving on, he has a Banshee, 30 ghouls with a champion, 45 skeletons with full command and Legion standard, 24 zombies, 36 Barrow Guards, full command and black standard of something that I won't even try to pronounce, 2 times 2 Great Bats, 5 Spectral Hunters, and running it off with a Varkolakt. And that is Mr. Newman's list. So the tactic and the synergy behind the list, I would say it's grind, grind, grind. Win the grind and you win the game. That's basically what VC is all about if you're playing this kind of list anyway. So he has the Courtier in the middle. It's basically sort of like a hex wagon that will lower your weapon skill 1, lower your discipline 1, and then he also has Witchcraft to lower your weapon skill even further if necessary. The Necromancer is there to just regenerate whatever that it has died and make sure that he regrows those wounds, and then basically it's just big blocks to win the grind with. That's the list. So pretty basic, pretty straightforward. And this has worked for him so far. So let's move on guys, and let's check in on what myself are playing this time.
Another dead weight!
what else won't pump you up if it's not I Prevail with Dead Weight. That's the title of the song. So, great song. Alright guys, moving on. Here is the list. And once again, I'm back to the... yeah, we're back to the Horny Goats once again. So let's have a look. This time I'm gonna play this Beast Lord on a Razor Tusk Chariot. He's basically the same, but this time he doesn't have any magic resistance. I give him Crown of Horns instead. Then we have a Minotaur Chieftain with he's the BSB, Greater Total Bear. Very lackluster on the defensive part here, except for magic resistance. Then he has paired weapons with blessed inscriptions. I will tell you all why later. Then I have a Soothsayer with Druidis, Wizard Master, Inscribed During, Seed of the Dark Forest. And here's the reason why I haven't kitted the Minotaur Chieftain with any defense. Because I feel like, why put 50 or 100 points or whatever into defensive gear into this guy when I'm basically just gonna throw regen, stone skin and whatever, and then distracting and whatever on this unit. It feels unnecessary to do that. Actually, it feels like I can waste those points on something else. That was my fault anyway. Then moving on, we have another Soothsayer with Evocation, Wizard Adept, Talisman of the Void. So it's super magic heavy, as I usually want to play my Beast Touch lists. This is what has been working for me so far. This magic here, where you see the Totem Bearer and the two Soothsayers in combined with a bunch of punch power that can blow through anything basically. And then also you get sustainability from this combination as well. Alright guys, moving on. In core I have 10 Mongol Raiders, just a bunker for Soothsayers if necessary. Then I have 30 Wyvern Herds, a big block of goats basically with full command and a goat banner. Then 2 times 15 Wildhorn Goats with ambush, throwing weapons and musicians in both of them. Then for Chaff I had 2 times 5 Feral Hounds, some semi-Chaff, War Machine Hunters, yeah you name it, 10 Gargoyles here with Scout. Then here we have the super heavy hitters, 7 Minotaurs with full command and Rending Banner. Hell yeah! In there we also will put the Minotaur Chieftain of course. And then we have a Razor Tusk Chariot just to provide some stalwart defense for Beast Lord. So if the opponent has a lot of a lot of multiple shooting, like a lot of bow fire and things like that, like crossbows, handgunners and whatever, then I will place the Beast Lord inside the Razor Tusk Chariot as a unit and then make the opponent divide his attacks against me. That's why I have another Razor Tusk Chariot. Also I have my little piggies because I really can't go without them nowadays. I really love those guys. So like you guys can tell, I have put the Gore-Texes at home because I feel like they have failed me too many times now. So I'm gonna try out the Minotaurs. That's what everybody's playing out there. Every net list that has Beast Turds in it plays Minotaurs. Yeah, right, that was my cell phone. It's going crazy right now. So anyway, let's try out the Minotaurs and let's see how it goes. Alright guys, let's jump into this battle port and let's see how it went. Alright, and then we're back guys, another battle report, super nice. Okay, and for all you Wardog Gaming fans out there, this is the first out of 2 battle reps that I will produce in this weekend basically. So these 2 games that I'm gonna present here are from the previous weekend and I play them on the same day. So the first one is against Mr. Newman, the other one will be against Mr. Meister, another guy you might have seen him. He plays Warriors of the Dark Gods. So that would be battle rep number 2. But anyway, we take that when it comes. So guys, this is the layout of the table. So for starters, we are playing Dawn Assault today, and the secondary objective is Breakthrough. A super nice objective for the goats, especially when you have 2 units that ambush with scoring. So take that any day. Okay guys, so for as always, as we do it nowadays, is that we have some recordings about the deployment. So what we will do basically is talk a little bit about the deployment phase, then look at the recordings, then head back and look at scout, vanguards and such, check in what kind of spells we took, and then head into turn 1. So let's start off with looking at the deployment phase. Alright, so we had a roll-off. I won the roll-off on which side I want to take. I then took this side because this is where I put all my minis, and basically also because I have druidism, right? So I felt like I wanted to take advantage of the hills that you see here. So from the hills you can measure 12 inches to use it for stone skin purpose. And then also I cut the board here because I don't want to be in the ruin. So I took 18 inches away from here, which gives Mr. Newman this corner to not be able to put his minis in, which is super nice for me, I feel like. Okay then guys, in the deployment phase, Newman basically started to drop. He dropped some chaff, it went back to me, I dropped something else, and then we had this back and forth a couple of times until I told Newman that I drop everything and then let him go first. Because I felt like he's undead, he's not gonna do that much in turn 1 anyway. If I go first, he might have the advantage of raising his bodies that I have taken away, and also it will be an advantage when it comes to objective for later as well. So I felt like, hey, I will have the advantage of going last in this matchup. So anyway, let's look at the recordings. Let's see how Newman deployed. Right, and we're back again. Welcome back, Mr. Newman, to the channel.
Thank you.
Thank you. So tell me, what do you have today?
Spectral Hunters.
Spectral Hunters.
30 ghouls with champion and the banshee.
And a little ghost, yeah, sweet.
Great bats.
Great bats.
Zombies with the necromancer. Evocation master with the necromantic staff.
Alright.
And 45 skeletons with sword and board and full command.
Sword and board, full command for the
Yeah.
parry, I get it.
Yeah, and the Legion standard with the vampire who's Lamia on the court with paired weapons with Kingslayer, magical heirloom, added witchcraft, and Mask of Innocence.
Alright, a lot of crap that I really don't know what it does, but
Yeah.
we will find out.
36 Barrow Guard.
Barrow Guard, yeah.
With, Black standard of Saskvod, whatever.
Oh yeah, don't even try to pronounce.
And Barrow King is one up save.
Right, that not
Speed,
school thing,
yeah.
yeah.
More great bats.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
More.
and the Varkalak
Yeah,
is
and-
already vanguarded.
And the asshole over there, that's always annoying. Sweet list, Newman, and always the painting is on point. So once again, massive props to Mr. Newman's painting skills. They are off the chart. I really love playing this guy. So anyway, that was Mr. Newman's deployment. Let's head over and check how the goats deployed. And then for the Horny Goats, let's start over here. We have 2 units in reserve waiting to ambush, 2 times 15 white goats. Then over here we have some gargoyles scouted. Over here we have some nasty pigs, then some dogs. Then my chariots, one of them is a regular razor tusk chariot and the other one is the goat lord. Behind him we have an evocation master and sorry, not master, adept and a druid adept within their bunker. The druidist is in the forest by himself. Then we have some dogs vanguarded here, some minotaurs over here with the BSB and everything, and then some more wild goats, and I think that's it, right? So let's fight! Right, as you guys already know, I misspoke there for a little bit. So rewind, and that druid is a master and not an adept, and here are his spells. So let's check it out. Oaken Throne, Fountain of Youth, Master F. Healing Waters, Stone Skin, and Entwining Roots. That are his spells. And then for the Minor Chieftain, he has all the totems, which is super nice. And then for the Emo Goat, he has Evocation of Souls, Spectral Blades, and Whispers of the Veil. And that are the goat spells. And then for Mr. Newman, he has an Evocation Master, right? So he has Spectral Blades, Whispers of the Veil, and both snipe spells. And also he has his staff, that necromantic staff, which gives him an extra spell. And then for the big vampire, she has Witchcraft and the hereditary spell in BC. In Witchcraft she has Raven's Wing and Deceptive Glamour, and that are the BC spells. Anyway guys, then we're off to scouts. So the gargoyle scouted here in front of his necromancer bunker. So I feel like that's actually one of the few things that this gargoyle unit can handle in his list. So I'm gonna go for some bunker hunting with him. After that he started to vanguard his Varkalact over here towards my bunker, because that will be his objective. I then countered that with vanguarding some wolves in the hope of him taking the bait to charge them, so I can charge the Varkalact straight after. And then I didn't do anything with the other wolf units. Or maybe I put them up a couple of inches. Basically nothing of importance. And that was it, guys. With that said, we're off to Vampire Counts, turn 1.
Listen, can I count on you or not?
Did someone say count?
No, I was just telling Bill.
I will count the vampires.
Pardon, I mean Covenant. Vampire Covenant, turn 1. So the first thing Mr. Newman does is that he takes his Varkalact and puts it over here in the corner. After that, he moves up with the black guards a little bit, has his shaft in the background, his skeletons here with a big vampire here in the middle, everything just sliding forward a couple of inches. Same for the zombies here. The ghouls are the only unit that is pushing pretty heavily forward. He sees no threats for the ghouls apparently. And then he's trying to hide his bunker here behind the ghouls so it doesn't get charged by my gargoyles. And that's about it, guys. After that we go into his magic phase. So the first spell that Mr. Newman gets off is a small raven's wing on the Varkalact. It jumps over my little goat unit, kills 3 of them, and then moves back because it doesn't have range enough to put him behind the unit and go into my bunker. After that, Newman tries some snipe spells or whatnot, but nothing of importance happened after that. And he might buff something, but it will have absolutely no effect on the game anyway. So let's move over to Goats, turn 1. Guys, so Goats turn 1, and we actually have a charge. Look at this. We have this charge for the gargoyles, and to accomplish it we need a 7 on Swiss Stride. Which, of course, as you have already seen, we get. So that's super nice. But that's the only charge for the goats. Going into remaining moves, and what we need to do is first take the minotaurs and pushes them forward a couple of inches and then wheels them towards the ghouls, because I feel like that would be a pretty good combat for them to hammer them through straight away. Then, just because his vampire has ghost step when it's on the court, we need to chaff it with some dogs. After that, I just swiftly form a big goat unit here to look at his Varkalact in hope of him charging that unit so I can pin him down there and maybe then come into and save them with my character. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. After that, I'm just pushing forward the pigs a little bit, putting the bunker here in the background, and then just putting everything in place to prepare myself for turn 2 and onward. That's it, guys. Then we go into the magic phase. In the magic phase we get the number something spell card, which I have already forgot. I get an Oaken Throne, and then this. Healing Waters and Blackwing Totem on my minotaurs, which is super nice. Now the ghouls that can see my minotaurs. Here you guys see it. And they had like a 7 or 8 or something like that and 2 dice to reach my minotaurs. Now I'm not afraid at all for them to go in there. If he goes in there, I will swing before him, probably delete half of the unit or not even more. He might go back, he will not have rerolls to hit, he will not have anything extra except if he gets any magic buffs, of course. But I will then have first 5 up armor save and then regen to save myself. So I think I just obliterate the entire unit. So with that said, we are into the combat phase, and as you guys can see, the gargoyles do what they're supposed to do. They delete his shaft, and after that they reform to look at his bunker. And with that said, we're off to Vampire Covenant, turn 2. Alright, so this is the overlay before we go into Vampire Covenant turn 2. Looks like this. What Mr. Newman does is that he has a charge actually. Takes his grave guards, or whatever they're called nowadays, you know how bad I am with names, into the wolves, which is a pretty solid plan, I gotta say. But that is Newman's only charge. The charge is going to look like this, and then we go to his remaining moves. First thing that he does is that he takes away his Varkalact, passes a march check, and puts him here, a million miles away from my goat unit. After that, the rest of his movement is going to look like something like this. He basically puts his vampire here still behind the impasse. His ghouls are moving a couple of inches forward. He keeps on having his spectral hunters here in the background to protect himself from my ambush. And then also he takes out his ghost from his ghoul unit to start to scream at my gargoyles. That's it. Then we go into the VC magic phase. And Vampire Covenant gets the number 7 spell card. First thing that Mr. Newman does is that he throws his beloved Raven's Wing, which he does in every turn it feels like, onto my gargoyles. I let it go, and then he kills 2 gargoyles with that spell. After that, Newman throws some buffs on his ghouls. I think he gets both rerolls to hit and lower the resilience and leadership on my minotaurs. With that said, we go into shooting phase. He then starts to scream with the banshee onto my gargoyles and kills a bunch of them. He puts them down to only 2 models left, but I pass my panic check. After that we go into the combat phase, and yes, the blackguards with no surprise at all deletes the wolves with super ease. So with that said, we go over to Goats turn 2, and this is how it's going to look. Goats turn 2, and we have absolutely no charges, but what we will do is that we juke the crap out of Newman. So here we do a sucker feint and act like we're going to go right, but then we turn around and go left instead. And now we are also out of the charge arc of his vampire here, which is super nice. And for the rest of the remaining moves, we are basically doing this. We take the Goat Lord and the Razor Toucher and pushes them forward towards his ghoul unit. That are probably the best unit, except for the minotaurs, of course, to deal with that unit. Then we take the pigs and the wolves here to be ready to charge whatever next turn. The bunker is coming towards the ghouls as well, a couple of inches forward, because just to get themselves ready in a position to buff whatever. And then also we reform the Wild Goat unit to look at his War Collect. And also, guys, have a look at this. Super nice. Get in both ambush units. And now the most important thing is to take care of his shaft over here. I will have about 50 something plus shots to shoot at that shaft unit, with needing 6s and then 4s. So it should be on average a dead shaft unit, but we will see. So here is the board from another angle, and then we move into the magic phase. In the magic phase we get the number 3 spell card, which we can see here. And then once again we start to buff up the minotaurs. We get off, I think it is stone skin on the minotaurs. Newman doesn't dispel the Oaken Throne, so I get that. After that I think I got some other spell which has no importance of the game. So basically the only buff that I got in this turn was stone skin on the minotaurs. After that we open up with all this shooting onto his shaft, which is super important that we can get off so we can go into combat as soon as possible. And guys, we get 1 wound. With all this, 1 wound, that's all that we do. So yeah, super fail. But yeah, no, I need to mention this, of course. In the magic phase we get off a Master of Earth and kills his ghost. Super important, super nice. I think I got like 5 hits and then 5 wounds or something like that. Newman couldn't save them all, and it is dead. Dead ghost. So with that magic and shooting phase, and since we have no combat, we're off to VC turn 3. So Vampire Covenant turn 3, and Newman has a charge. Spectral Hunters into my ambushing Wild Goats. Goats then chooses to flee voluntarily or not, really doesn't matter, because this is the end result. The other Wild Goat unit then passes their panic check, which is super nice. Newman then fails to charge and moves forward a couple of inches. After that we go into his regular moves, and he basically puts back the War Collect here in the background, puts his shaft in front of minotaurs, which was super expected, and then he just re-angles the rest of his battle line. So it's going to look like something like this. With that said, we go into Mr. Newman's magic phase. I can't remember which spell card he got, I don't have a picture of it either, but basically what it does is that he throws some spell, the Raven's Wing basically over my gargoyles with one of his units here, kills the gargoyles, then goes in to buff his ghouls with spectral blades. I dispel that. Instead, Mr. Newman puts on Deceptive Glamour on my pigs, And after that he puts on both of his attributes from witchcraft onto my chariots, meaning that they get a super long charge into his ghouls, which is kinda annoying a little bit. And since Mr. Newman has no shooting and we are in no combat, we are then off the goats. Turn 3. Goats turn 3 and we have a charge. Minotaurs into his shaft. Need to get rid of it. Super easy and quick. And that's the only charge, unfortunate, because it's too dangerous to try to pull off any shenanigans here. Instead we do this. Well, first we have the charge from another angle anymore. And then we have rally. I need to go back here. We failed the rally test on the wild goats here. They keep on running like the cowards that they are. Instead, we also take the guys in the background here and then make sure that we are setting up our rear charge in place. After that, we move over to this little picture to show you guys what I'm gonna do here. I take the wolves and pushes them forward against his ghouls. Trying to create a trap for Mr. Newman, because if he will charge my dogs here, then I will just combo charge his ghouls after with both the pigs and the chariots, and that would mean a dead goat unit, sorry. But after that we are basically done with the movement, except for the wild goat unit here that have just re-angled to look at his war collect, because it's still being annoying as hell in the background. With that, we're off to the magic phase and we get the number 1 spell card. So maybe not the best spell card to get in a situation like this, but that's what we take what we're given to us. Anyway, we still have Oaken thrown up, so basically the most important thing here is to buff the minotaurs as much as possible. And oh boy, if we get a lucky roll here. We get both regeneration on 2 dice, which Newman's lets go because he wanna get rid of Stone Skin, which he feels is the most important spell, and that one with 4 dice and get off as well. So poor Newman, he's gonna face a regeneration 4+ minotaurs with parry, and rerolls to hit, and toughness 7 now, which is not what Newman wanna face. Anyway, we have some shooting. I guess we don't. We have this bunker shooting maybe off a ghoul or something, and then we go into combat, and yeah, as expected, the bats vaporizes. I don't think we even roll this. They're just dead, poof, and then we're off to Vampire Covenant. Turn 4. Alright guys, so I might have actually spoiled this from showing you when I redeployed the wolves over here. The Vampire Covenant turn 4 goes on something like this. He takes his grey guards into the minotaurs because, well, he feels like he's forced to. Also, what I did after the combat phase is that I reformed my minotaurs, put them up here 6x3 instead. 3x3 instead, to make sure that I got out of the line of sight from the vampire, which was super important. Anyway, so the only charge that Newman had was the barrel guards into the minotaurs. After that, the board is gonna look like something like this. And then Newman is going to his remaining moves, and basically is just staying put with the Spectral Hunters to protect his flank, his rear. He moves back to bunker, he moves forwards with the ghouls a little bit, takes his War Collect and pushes it here in the background to threaten my bunker with the War Collect. So everything is going to look like this after Newman has done his movement. And then we're off to his magic phase. And what he does is that he puts Vespers of the Veil on my general over here, which I apparently dispels. Or Newman might have failed it actually. After that he tried to get off Spectral Blades on his Barrel Guard unit. He tries to do it with 4 dice. I have 5 dice left. I dispel that spell, and that's basically the only important spell that he had in this magic phase. Fail that, we go into the combat phase, and oh boy. Alright, now Newman has started to realize that minotaurs are not something that you should take lightly. Look at this, guys. Newman does 3 wounds to my BSB, which is pretty nice, but doesn't kill it, because he takes as many attacks as he can into the BSB. And then he does 3 wounds on a minotaur after that. So that's, I would say, above average for Newman and his rolls, but oh boy, look at this. After we had done Crumble and everything, Newman has basically 1.5 rank left of the Barrel Guards, which is not that good for Newman now, is it? Dire news for the VC, I gotta say so far. That didn't go as expected for Mr. Newman. Anyway, we are off to Goats, turn 4, and we begin with a crap ton of charges. Yeah, look at this, guys. Alright, so we start off with the dogs into the flank of the vampire unit, then the pigs into the ghouls, then my chariot into his ghouls, and then also this little unit here in the background, if you guys remember, that ambushed into the flank of his vampire unit as well. So the pigs need a 7, chariots need an 8, the rear guys here needs a 10, well, the flank guys here in the background. Dogs are an automatic. So we start off with the pigs, makes it, chariots, makes it, dogs, makes it, and then the ambush guys fails the first attempt. But then Newman tells me that, oh man, come on, you have a reroll because you are on a hill. So it reminds me of that. I take up the dice and rolls a 10. Of course, guys, makes all the charges. Fucking Newman, man. Can't get any slack at all. So yeah, we basically have me. It's combat everywhere now. Alright, and then also on top of that, we of course rally the goats here on the left side. So now we reclaim the objective as well with that unit. So poor fucking Newman, man. In the remaining moves, we try to pull off a little trap for Mr. Newman. We take out the soothsayers out of the bunker, puts the bunker a couple of inches closer to the wall collect, and then we re-angle the big goat unit to make sure that we have a counter charge in place in case Newman wants to charge the bunker and see if he is lucky or not. So here's a better picture of the trap, which Newman's probably not gonna fail for, but well, at least worth a shot. After that we go into the magic phase, and this time we get the number 2 spell card, so another awful card to get, but we take what we have, man. In the magic phase we start off by throwing spectral blades on the pigs, which is hindsight 2020, super unnecessary because I already wound him on 2s, so that will mean that I re-roll once onto wound rolls. Newman lets it go, of course. Then throw regeneration on the minotaurs. Newman dispels that, or I fail to cast it, either one of them. And then I take the last of my dice and put stone skin on the minotaurs. Newman tries to dispel it or whatever he had, but fails to do so. So then it's going to look like this, basically. After that, since we have some shooting, the bunker tries some pop shots at the Varkolak, fails to get any wounds, and then we're straight into combat. Alright, so we start off with this unit. Pigs and chariots into the ghouls. Newman says challenge at the Goat Lord.
What's up, bro? What, bro? Sup, bro? Take a swing, bro. Right here, bro.
Which is, well, kind of expected, because that's the best thing he can do in a bad situation like this. I accept, of course, destroys the ghoul champ with max overkill. And then I go in and smashes a bunch of ghouls. Also, yeah, guys, sorry, I forgot to say it, but he got entwining roots on the ghoul unit as well. Pigs hits him on freeze and destroys a shit ton of ghouls. The Razor Touch Shard goes in, rolls a 6 on the impact hits and destroys a shit ton of ghouls as well. And basically this is the end result. Yep, he does though 2 wounds I think on a Razor Touch Shard and kills a pig in the return. So well, at least Newman has that going for him. But yeah, that's the remaining ghoul that he has left. He has 1 ghoul left. Then we go into the Minotaur combat, and yes, as expected, the Minotaur just destroys the blackguards, and he in return does 1 wound to a Minotaur and takes the BSB down to 1 wound left remaining. So yeah, that's a little bit annoying, but that happened. After that we go into the skelly combat with my flanking dogs and goats, and I go in and kill a bunch of skeletons. He goes back, kills a dog and a goat. He has 4 ranks and 1 banner, so he has a bunch of static combat rest, but he loses anyway and crumbles a little bit, and I stick here, which I'm super happy about. Now I have pinned him in place, which was the entire tactic from the start. And with that said, guys, we are off to Vampire Covenant, turn 5. Mr. Newman's VC turn 5 and charges. We have Spectral Hunters into the flank of the goats here. That's the charge. He can't fail that, so they are an automatic. After that, he takes out the Necromancer, puts it behind his zombies, pushes up the zombies to use them as chaff for later. And also he has his Varkolek left, pushes it up forward to be as a support piece later on for the Minotaurs. That's Newman's remaining moves. And then we are off to the magic phase. In the magic phase, Newman gets a spell card, which I can't see here exactly, but the important thing is that he gets, he takes 3 dice to use on Whispers of the Veil on my pigs, rolls triple 4. I let it go, of course, because that would mean triple 3, which is a 2d6 strength 3 on the Necromancer that is standing behind his zombies alone. He rolls the number of hits, gets a 10 or an 11, and yep, as expected, poor fucking Newman can't get any slack at all. Necromancer blows himself up turn 5. Poor fucking Newman. I can't get any slack at all in this game. I feel fucking bad for that guy. So anyway, that's basically the magic phase then. So yeah, I guess we go into combat then, and well, Newman wanna start with the vampire combat here. He goes in, smashes a bunch of goats, he smashes a bunch of dongs, I go back and smashes a bunch of skellies. Anyway, it ends up with him winning. I need to flee with both of my units. He wants me to flee towards my minotaurs, which basically is going to look to make the combat look like this after, because Newman is needing a 7 on the overrun with a vampire, and of course rolls a 6. Once again, poor fucking Newman, man. Can't get the overrun into the Minotaur, so yeah, we stay like this. And yeah, and for the rest of the combats, well, of course, that little ghoul is super dead, and yeah, that's it. We are off to Goats turn 5. Goats turn 5, and it's going to look like this. I reformed my sheds after the ghoul combat to make them look like this, so I can then charge his skelly unit in the flank. I take the pigs into the zombies. I charge out of my general alone into the skelly combat, takes the minotaurs, of course, charges into his skellies, and then also I rear charge the Varkolek with my wild goats, because why not? So we have everything looking like this from another angle. And here's from another angle again. So basically when all charges have been made, it's gonna look like this, guys. So Minotaurs into a vampire unit, the Goat Lord into the flank, and then we have my wild goats in the rear of that Varkolek. Pigs into the zombies. That's it, guys. Then we move, rally the wild goats here, of course, because this is definitely Newman's game, or not. And well, then we take just the soothsayers, puts them here in close by. I also take in the soothsayer here, the druid here, into the rallied wild goat unit, because why not? He's more safe there, I feel like. And with that said, we're off to the magic phase. In the magic phase, we get the number 8 spell card. So yeah, terrible card from Mr. Newman. Then in the magic phase, it's gonna look like this. We have Oaken Throne already up. I think Newman dispelled it this turn. I get it once again with 1 dice. I get Stone Skin onto the Minotaurs. I buff the Goat Lord with Reroast the Wound, I think it was. Might have got some totem somewhere, and yeah, that's it. Then we go into combat. Sorry guys, I seem to have got Spectral Blades on the Minotaurs, not Stone Skin, so Spectral Blades on the Minotaurs. Anyway, we go in, we smashes the zombies with the pigs, as expected. We go in, smashes a bunch of skellies here, takes him down to super low in numbers. I also put down a crap ton of attacks onto his vampire. The vampire gets 12 wounds on it, but survives because Newman rolls 9 4+, so it only takes 3 wounds, has 2 wounds left. Vampire also goes in and kills the BSB with his last wound, and then Newman kills another Minotaur with the rest of his attacks. So it didn't go that terrible for Newman in this turn actually, because he killed at least the Minotaur chieftain. Also, the Wild Goats here in their combat, they do 2 wounds to War Collect, I think I win with 1 here. The War Collect crumbles, so it has 1 wound left. That's it. Then we're off to Vampire Covenant, turn 6. Last turn of the game, guys. Alright, so basically we don't have so much else in movement. Newman is gonna just take his Spectral Hunters and push them towards my unit that is up here on the left side, claiming the objective. He wanna try to use Raven's Wing to make them flee off the table. Newman goes into the magic phase, you do exactly as told. He tries Raven's Wing on Spectral Hunters, I dispel that. He gets Deceptive Glamour somewhere else, or might have got it Resurrect spell, whatever. Either one of them, resurrected a couple of skellies, maybe got a wound back on the vampire. We go into the combat phase. Newman goes in with a vampire, tries to kill a bunch of minotaurs, kills maybe, I think he killed a vampire. I then go back for the vampires, swing all that I have onto the vampire and destroys him. After that, Newman basically throws in the towel and says, fuck this game is bullshit. I don't want to have any more of this. And guys, the game ends here, unfortunately. So here we can have a look at the last picture basically, and it's a massive win for the goats. There's basically nothing left from the board. What would have happened in the last turn basically is this vampire will have crumbled, the goat lord will have done rear charge, the spectral hunters kill them as well. And then the War Collect also died from combat resistance shit from the goats. So basically Newman has nothing left, got tabled in turn 6 unfortunately. So sad to say for all you VC fans out there, but let's have a look at the last nice picture to see the end result anyway. Guys, as you probably have already figured out, it was a 20-0 for the goats. Yes, that was the game of the goats. But I feel like the odds were stacked against Mr. Newman in this one. I feel like the matchup weren't in his favor, the objective weren't in his favor, and the dices weren't in his favor. So basically nothing went his way in this one. So I feel a little bit sad for Newman in that regard. But hey buddy, you will get me the next one, I'm sure of it. You're a great player and you're a great sportsman as always, and I'm super happy that you let me do this battle report even though that the odds weren't in your favor, man. So anyway guys, I feel like that's it for this one. So if you enjoyed this battle report, then please press down the like button. If you enjoy my content overall and haven't subscribed to the channel, guys, feel free to do so. Then maybe it's time to do that. Otherwise guys, until we see each other to the next one, everybody take care now, stay safe out there, and peace.